Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the unsung hero of the business world. You know, that silent guardian that makes sure the products you get are perfect every single time. We're talking about SAP Quality Management.
I mean, really think about that for a second. The phone in your hand, the car you drive, the coffee you drink. Consistency is everything. How on earth do companies achieve that on a massive global scale? Well, I can tell you, it's not magic, and it's definitely not luck.
The secret is having a deeply integrated system that acts kind of like a central nervous system for the entire supply chain. It's constantly sensing, reacting, and making sure everything is working just right. And that right there is exactly what SAP QM is built to do.
So here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with this big idea of the quality nervous system. Then we'll actually follow a product on its journey. We'll check out the key tools that make all this work, see why this integration is such a game changer, and then wrap up with the one big thing you should remember. Sound good? Let's get into it.
All right, first up, let's talk about the big picture, because this isn't about some person in a lab coat just checking boxes. Nope, this is about a web of connections that touches literally the entire business.
So at its heart, SAP S4HANA Quality Management, we'll just call it QM. It's not some standalone program. Its whole reason for being is to weave itself directly into the core day-to-day processes of a company. It doesn't just watch from the sidelines, it's right there, in the middle of the action, managing quality as it happens. And here's where it plugs in. QM connects directly to procurement. That's when you're buying your raw materials. It's in materials management, how you handle and store those things. It's in manufacturing, of course, while you're actually building the product. And, you guessed it, it's in sales and distribution, right as you ship it out the door. It has touch points absolutely everywhere. Okay, so to make this feel a bit more real, let's actually follow a product on its journey, all the way from raw material to a customer's doorstep. And we'll see how QM is like its guardian angel every single step of the way. We'll look at this journey in 4 main stages, and at each of these stops, QM is basically waiting, ready to do its job and make sure that standards are met before that product is allowed to move on. Okay, here we go. Picture this. A truck full of raw materials just arrived at the loading dock. Before a single one of those boxes even gets touched, quality management gets the first call to action. Right here, QM acts as a super important gatekeeper. The second those materials are scanned into the system, what's called a goods receipt, it automatically triggers a quality inspection. Are the materials the right spec? Are they damaged? QM makes darn sure you're not about to start making things with faulty ingredients. This is huge, right? Quality control starts before you even think about production. All right, the materials pass the test, and they're headed for the factory floor. But believe me, the quality checks are far from over. Let's see what happens next. So while the product is actually being made, QM allows for these in-process controls. Think of them like checkpoints along an assembly line. Then, before that finished product can even go into the warehouse, boom, it gets a final inspection. And it doesn't even stop there. Quality can be monitored while it's just sitting in storage, to check for things like temperature changes or expiration dates. So the product's been made, it passed its checks, it's been chilling in the warehouse, now a customer places an order. This is it, the final and maybe the most critical checkpoint. Before that product gets packed up and shipped out, QM can trigger one last check, just to make sure nothing weird happened while it was in storage. It can also automatically print out any of those fancy quality certificates that need to go along with the shipment. This is the final handshake, the guarantee that the customer gets exactly what they paid for. So we've seen where QM does its work, but how does it actually do it? Well, the system uses a couple of key tools to manage this whole dance. Let's break down the 2 most important ones. First up, we have the inspection lot. The easiest way to think about this is like an official work order for the quality team. When raw materials show up, or when a batch of products is finished, the system creates an inspection lot. It's basically saying, hey, quality team, I need you to go inspect this specific thing right now. It's the spark that ignites every single quality check. But what happens when something fails an inspection? That's where the quality notification comes into play. If a problem is found, a quality notification gets created. This thing is like the official case file. It documents what's wrong, it tracks the investigation to find the root cause, and it manages all the steps to fix it. It is the system's dedicated problem-solving tool. Okay, we've seen the journey, we've seen the tools. Now for the million-dollar question. Why bother with all of this? Why is this deep integration so incredibly powerful?
What's the real payoff for a business that decides to build this kind of quality nervous system? Well, as you can probably guess, the benefits are pretty massive.
You get some huge wins across the board. First, shared data. Everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet. Second, automation. Those inspections get triggered automatically, so things don't get missed. Third, standardization. Quality becomes a consistent, repeatable process, not just a matter of opinion. Fourth, and this is a big one, you get continuous improvement. Every problem you track becomes a lesson learned. And finally, all of this data helps you with better quality planning down the road, so you can stop problems before they even start.
Okay, let's bring it all home. If there's just one thing you remember from all this, I want it to be this. This quote really says it all. The magic word there is complete. See, quality isn't just one stop. It's a continuous thread that's woven through every single link in the supply chain from the very, very beginning to the very, very end. And that integration is what makes great companies great. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. We've seen how these integrated systems work today, but with AI and automation getting smarter every single day, what's next? Are we going to see systems that don't just find defects, but actually predict them before they ever happen? I think the journey of quality is just getting started.